Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are cracking open a case file on a really sneaky respiratory agent. We're calling it the walking pneumonia saboteur.
Come on, you know the one I'm talking about, right? That dry, nagging cough that just will not quit. It goes on for weeks. You feel kind of run down, but not really sick enough to, stay in bed all day.
Well, what if I told you the culprit behind that super annoying cough is probably way smaller than you think? And honestly, a whole lot smarter.
All right, let's get into it. Time to open up this saboteur's case file.
So our suspect's official name is Mycoplasma pneumoniae, but its known alias is the cell wall-less saboteur. Now think about this. Most bacteria have this rigid cell wall, and that's exactly what a lot of our antibiotics are designed to attack. But this little guy, it doesn't have one. And that's not a weakness. Oh no. That is its greatest strength.
Okay, so let's get a positive ID on this thing. We're going to examine its physical and biochemical profile. First thing you need to know, this organism is a prokaryote. All that means is its cells are super simple. No nucleus, no fancy machinery inside. And get this, Mycoplasma pneumoniae actually holds the record for being the smallest self-replicating prokaryote we know of. It is the ultimate minimalist when it comes to pathogens. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Think of this as its forensic report, its biochemical fingerprint. You try a gram stain on it, you get nothing, no signal. Why? Because there's no cell wall to stain. It also tests negative for some key enzymes, catalase and oxidase. But you give it some glucose, and yeah, it'll ferment that for energy. It's this very specific profile that lets labs know, aha, we got him.
And if you actually manage to grow this thing in a lab, you'll see its signature calling card under the microscope. They call it a fried egg colony. And it looks just like it sounds. It's got this dense center with a flat, kind of translucent ring around it. It's a really unique look for sure.
So you're probably wondering, how does this tiny, minimalist thing cause so much trouble? Well, let's break down its anatomy of an attack step by step.
Okay, its attack is basically a 4-step masterclass in sabotage. Step 1, precision attachment. It uses this specialized little tool to latch right onto the cells lining our airways. Step 2, ciliary sabotage. This is huge. It paralyzes the tiny little hairs, the cilia, that are supposed to be cleaning our airways. Step 3, it actually hides inside our own cells for a bit, playing hide-and-seek with our immune system. And finally, step 4, immune modulation. It basically tricks our own body into freaking out, launching this massive immune response that ends up causing more damage than the bacteria itself.
Look, a saboteur is only as good as its gear, right? And its ability to stay hidden. So let's take a look at its arsenal. Its #1 weapon is called P1 adhesin. The best way to think about it is like a tiny, microscopic grappling hook. Without this thing, it can't even attach to our lung cells. The whole infection is a non-starter. It really is the key that unlocks the front door. But then it has a secret weapon, something called the Card's toxin. Now this is the agent that paralyzes those cilia we were just talking about. Your cilia are supposed to be constantly sweeping stuff out of your airways. This toxin just stops them dead in their tracks. And that buildup is exactly what causes the inflammation and, you guessed it, that signature, dry, hacking cough that won't go away.
So how does it get away with all this? It's all about the evasion techniques. First, no cell wall means it's totally invisible to a whole class of antibiotics like penicillin. Then, it's constantly changing its surface proteins. It's like a spy constantly changing disguises. It ducks inside our own cells for cover. And it grows so slowly that it keeps a really low profile, so it doesn't trigger a massive, immediate alarm from our immune system. It's just sneaky.
Okay, now it's time to look at the crime scene. This is where we see the signature move of our suspect.
And this right here, this is the whole mystery of walking pneumonia. The person, the victim, they just feel like they have a bad cold. A low-grade fever, that annoying cough. But then you take a chest x-ray and whoa, you see widespread inflammation, all sorts of disruption. The lungs look way worse than the person actually feels. That weird disconnect, that's the paradox.
But here's the thing. This saboteur doesn't always just stay in the lungs. Oh no. Because it messes with our immune system so much, it can cause all these other serious problems. We call them extrapulmonary crimes, all over the body. We're talking about anemia, inflammation of the heart, really bad rashes, and even scary neurological stuff like encephalitis. It's a true systemic troublemaker. So, who should be on the lookout? Well, the typical victim profile is pretty clear. school-age children, young adults, and really anyone in crowded, close-contact settings. Think military recruits in barracks or students in college dorms. Those are its absolute favorite hunting grounds because it can spread so easily from person to person.
So, we've reviewed all the evidence. What's the final profile on this master saboteur? I think this final statement from the case file really says it all. It operates with precision rather than brute force. It's not about overwhelming you with huge numbers. It's about outsmarting you with stealth, with highly specific tools, and by turning your own body's defenses against you.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. What does this tiny minimalist saboteur, this thing that causes so much trouble through sheer cleverness instead of brute force, what does it really teach us about the evolution of disease itself?